Hey guys, Marmalade here. Thanks so much for joining me for episode 6 of what I've learned on the PCT. And again, as always, we have 4 questions, and I'll ask at the end too, but please, more questions if you have them. But we have 4 good ones today. The first one is from Jessica B. She asked, what are a few of your current favorite pieces of gear and why? So I picked out 3 things. Almost everything I have I love, but my 3 favorites that I could think of right now is for sure my pretty new pack here, the Arcol Ultra. The Ultra is this new material, and it's a little bit sunny and shady here, so I hope you can see that okay. It's a 60 liters. It weighs, I want to say like 23 or 4 ounces, but can handle comfortably up to 40 pounds, which is very rare to find an ultralight pack that can handle a max comfortability rate of that high as 40. I don't go over about 25 pounds anymore, but still, it's nice to know that. And why do I like it? When this is loaded up and I'm on trail, it just fits me right. It feels like it's part of me. I don't feel like my very first pack when I started the PCT in 2019 just didn't feel part of me. It was fairly comfortable, handled weight okay, but it just was big and giant. And this one just feels part of me. I really like these pre-curved graphite staves, carbon fiber staves that creates the space behind there. So I like that for airflow, and the hip belt's very comfortable. I just really like it. So far, I've really liked it. I probably got maybe 400 to 500 miles on it, so not a lot of miles, but took it on the PCT this year when I did the Mammoth area up to Truckee, and then I did some up by Timberline Lodge. So far, I've really enjoyed this. That's one. Second is my tent. This is a ZPACKS also, so 2 ZPACKS, TRIPLEX, so a 3-person tent. With the bag, it weighs like around 25 ounces, which is just insane. It comes compact. It fits in my pack really great. But I've just really liked it. I struggled with getting the right tent, and this is the first tent that I've really loved and enjoyed. I've had it for about 2.5 years now. As I stated in one of my last videos, though, I haven't been in a heavy downpour, so I want to see how it performs that way. I live in Southern California, so when I go out in the desert portion of the PCT, it doesn't rain much. It does rain heavy out there. I just when I know there's giant storms coming in, I tend to not go out there. But I still want to see how this thing performs, in a heavy rain. So anyway, that's my second piece, and my third is, believe it or not, my water filter. It's the Katadyn Be Free filter. It's this right here, and this is the whole thing right there. And I've been using this. I had the Sawyer uh, Squeeze Micro. It was brand new and got it right before my through hike attempt in 19. And on the 7th day, it clogged up. Not only did it stop working, but I couldn't back flush it, so it was useless. And I was on the PCT. I had to go from mile about 110 all the way to mile 444 before I could get to an REI and replace it. So I struggled when I was in the like water sources. I could barely get water to trickle out of this, and sometimes we had 4 and 5, 6 liters of water we needed to get. And the people I'm hiking with, and somebody I hike with, Bart, he had this, and the flow rate's really high. And even when they're both working, this has a higher flow rate. Yeah, those are my 3. Great question. All right, my second question is from Tony Simi, and he asked me, "What do you do when you come across a mountain lion?" So, great question. I think the last time if you watched my 2-day thing up by Big Bear, I saw mountain lion prints. I'm going to put a picture of one. It's very important you know how to recognize different kinds of prints, but especially cougar or mountain lion prints. Here's a picture of one. And so I wrote some notes on this. Um, I think when it comes to, like, for me, when I was gonna do the PCT, I knew there's 3 animals that basically could kill or hurt me, and that's rattlesnakes in the desert, of course, mountain lions and bears. So I'm around rattlesnakes all the time. I know how to act towards them, but I thought, well, if I'm gonna do this trail or even be hiking a lot and be out around them, I need to learn how to act, like what to do if I have an encounter with one. So I've seen I think 4 black bears so far on this through hike attempt over the years, and all but one just ran away. So before I could even film them, so they don't really want anything to do with you. But I learned how to act towards them. But this question's about mountain lions. So they tend to lay low during the day. Their hunting time is dawn and dusk, and the reason for that is things like deer or things that they hunt. That's when those animals are active, so they hunt, and mountain lions are active while their prey are active. And I should say, with that said, so if you want to be a little safer, try not to hike alone. They don't like groups of people, and also hike during the middle of the day, not as much in dawn and dusk, but sometimes that's unavoidable. But that's a kind of two ways you could be a little safer. So mountain lions normally, when they see people, they run or go away. We're not really on the menu, so they don't really want to interact with us. But if you do see one or near one, the first thing to do is not freak out. They can sense that. Also, don't start running away. Also, don't crouch or get low because that makes them think that you're like a snack. So just basically, you want to, even though you might be scared, you know whatless in the inside, you want to be brave and not run from them, not turn your back on them, not get down low, and look big, appear to be big. So I did some research on this, and the experts kind of say like if one gets within 100 yards of you, let's say like a football field away, and it's not really paying attention to you, just try to back away. You don't turn your back towards them, but just back away quietly and move away. Like I said, we're not on the menu, so generally they're not going to want any part of you anyway, but just back away quietly and keep your eye on them. If they get within 50 yards or more, you want to do the same thing, but you want to also, if they are noticing you or maybe even coming towards you or walking towards you or are curious, you want to, the secret is kind of like the same with bears, but you want to look big. You want to be loud, but you want to be big. If you're wearing jackets or sweater, open everything up, look really large to them because we are bigger than them, and be loud, and then also back away as usual. Do not turn your back on them. Even if they don't think they want to attack you, turning away and running because you're scared, or turn your back on them triggers that kind of prey instinct, and they might attack you just because of what you did. So just keep your wits about you and back up slowly, and maybe look for a rock or a stick or something as a weapon in case you have to have an interaction with them. Or sometimes I've seen videos where they get close and you can throw sticks or rocks, and then that scares them away. So whether you had to fight off one or just scare them away, maybe as you're backing off when they're close, try to look for sticks and rocks or something that you can protect yourself with. And the last couple tips are just hike with groups, wear bright colors, and like I said earlier, just if one gets kind of close to you or whatever, yell and be aggressive. Show that you're not scared, even though you might be scared on the inside. All right, question number 3 is from Scott Lavelle. He asked, what sports caps do you use on your bottles, and where are you getting them? And so I thought I'd just show you like a typical setup when I'm backpacking. Sometimes I usually have 3 bottles. I also have my water reservoir, the bags I use to filter with if I have to carry extra water. This is 1.5 and 1.5 liters, and then this is 700 milliliters, so just under 1 liter. This goes on my chest. I would do 1 liter bottle, but it sticks up too high and hits me, so I do the 700 milliliter in my chest. But these go on my side pockets, and so I find it interesting about the caps. Actually, I brought the cap in my pocket here. So for the longest time, I always carried these sports caps. I don't know if you can see those, but the normal sports cap. Where do I get them? I just get them. I've actually bought bottles just for the cap to have. But I'm going to be honest with you, straight up, I don't use these anymore. And the reason, if they come on the bottle I buy, then I'll use them. But I don't use them on trail anymore because this thing, opening, closing, especially as much as you use it all day, every day on trail, these just pop off. And now I've got a lid that's not going to stay closed, and if I bend over, they leak and stuff. So I stopped using these. For me, I just used the normal twist off. This is some new Smart Water. It's a cucumber lime flavor, and they come with cool colors. They have a bunch of different flavors, but I use this. To me, is not a big effort to do this and drink on the trail, so I don't worry about this. I know it's not going to leak, and I carry 2 extra caps in my water kit in case I lose one of these or somebody I'm hiking one loses one. They're all universal, so like these bottles you can see are a different brand. But yeah, I just use the caps that they come with, and eventually, like you can see, these have been pretty beat up. They shrivel up sometimes when you're at high elevation, and then they kind of get misshapen. But these can last a long time, but they're cheap and easy to replace on trail. All right, my 4th and final question is from Stephen Martin. He asked me a few things. What's your preference date to start the hike on the PCT? Have you had problems in getting your date you wanted? If family wanted to join me on the trail, where would be a good section? So I'll start with the first part of the question. You guys probably know I live in San Diego, and I hike. I cut my teeth backpacking for years, probably a couple thousand miles in the desert section of the PCT. So I know this area and I know what the weather's like. So I chose March 26th for a couple things. I really didn't know how long it was going to take me to do the whole trail, and I wanted to start early enough that I didn't end up on the other end before winter came. I also wanted to get through the desert in the spring while it was still nice. It was very cold. I think it got into the 30s at night for the first 3 weeks on trail, but it was 60 to 70 every day, in the desert for most of it until I got towards the end. It started getting warm, but so I picked it early because I needed more time. I felt I did, and for being cooler weather and not so hot in the desert. But if I were to restart the trail, I actually would change and not do March 26th. I'd do mid-April to late April. And to answer your question, no, I didn't have a hard time. I got very lucky with my permit date. I thought, because I'd never gone through the process, I thought I was screwed. I was like number 3,000 something in line, and I waited about 2 hours for the queue to go down until it was my turn. But most people pick April, May. A lot of the fast hikers go later so they can catch up and pass everybody. But March 26th was open, so I did it. Kind of a weird thing. My birthday is on August 26th. So I thought, well, if I can do it in exactly 5 months, I can try to finish on my birthday. But it was really that didn't matter that much. It was just that I wanted to start early enough for the good weather, and so that's why I picked that date. All right, and the last question about where your family could join you. The problem with that question is you didn't say where you live. Do you want them to join you in Southern California, the Sierras, Northern Cal, Oregon? Well, I have no clue where you want them to join you. And also, do you want a hard section, an easy section? Do you want 20 miles, 300 miles? I don't know any of that stuff, but I was thinking about my area because I was thinking maybe more towards the start as what you meant. So I wrote some notes here. Um, but you could start at Mount Laguna at mile 43, and you can go about 33 or 4 miles to Scissors Crossing, which is mile 77, and they can get into Julian. I'll see what else I have here. Or you could start where I just suggested you get off at mile 77, which is Scissors Crossing, and go up about 32 and a half miles to Warner Springs. That's a good one to do, and they're both areas are accessible by car if you want to get picked up or drop off, or you have to hitch or any of that kind of stuff. Um, Big Bear, mile marker 266. You can go north or south, or I guess you're going north, so go north with you. They could go about 20 miles and still be by Big Bear and get out, or you can keep going for about, I wrote this down here. You can go 76 miles to Cajon Pass, where the famous McDonald's is on town, but that's off the 15 freeway, I think, so that's a good place to pick up and drop off. So they could do 76 miles from Big Bear to Cajon Pass. And I'd be glad if I'm not answering this correct and there's another area that say you live in Oregon. I don't know where you live, but if there's another area and I've been there, I haven't done the whole trail, I'd be glad to give you more info. Just let me know in the description box below. But I think that's it, you guys. Those were good questions. I appreciate them, and like I said, I'm looking for more questions, more things that hopefully some of these videos trigger more questions from you. And please consider subscribing, liking, and hitting the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I have a new video. It really helps out my channel. As I've said many times, these stats show that only like 10% of the people that watch are subscribers, and it's free. So that helps out my channel and my growth on the channel. And I think that's it. Until episode 7, we'll definitely see you down the trail.